Alright everybody, today we are here with a new chapter of your history, okay, which will be coming in the second of your terms. So the chapter is Nazism and the Rise of Hitler. So by the name itself, it seems so dashing chapter, it's the Hitler, you're talking about Hitler, everyone knows about Hitler, right? It hits you, right? Adolf Hitler, we already know about him, we have already studied about him in our previous classes too. And Nazism, I get that it's a new word for all of you, Nazism. So before I start, I'd like to tell you an introduction of the word Nazism. Nazism, if I talk about it, Nazism is nothing but an ideology, okay? It was a group of people called Nazis, okay? There was a group of people named as Nazis, and it was their ideology to introduce Nazism so that it can change the whole world. Okay, so Nazism was an emotion and an ideology, whatever you think of it, but it was introduced by a group of people called the Nazis because they thought that this thought called Nazism, it can change the entire world. Okay, this is basically what is Nazism. And Hitler was a dictator. We already know about it. Right, he was a dictator, a harsh, strict dictator, and Germany really required such kind of dictator. We'll know why. Okay, now every time what I do is I start with the intro, right? But today I'm not going to start with an intro, okay? Because intro is a kind of story. What I would do, I'll not give you a trailer. I'll keep you in suspense. Directly I'll start with the story. Okay. And then in the between of the story, we'll again get to know that same trailer we were to do in the beginning, and then I'll tell you what the trailer was. Okay, so let us first begin with the story. Okay. Here we have it. So your first unit is birth of the Weimar Republic. It's not Weimar, it's Weimar. Okay, Weimar Republic. So let's start with it. When I talk about Weimar Republic, what was the Weimar Republic? Yeah. So I'll tell you one thing before we begin. It was the post-World War I Germany. The post-World War I Germany was called as the Weimar Republic. Now, let us start with it. So Germany, a powerful empire. Wait a minute. Germany, a powerful empire in the early years of the 20th century, fought the First World War. Now, the First World War was also known as the Great War. Okay, the Great War, which was fought between 1914 to 1918. Okay, between the Allied powers and the Central powers. Okay, it was a harsh. Okay, it was a tough competition between the Central powers and the Allied powers. Germany was with the Central powers. Okay, here I had Germany with me. Along with Germany, we had Austria, Hungary, Ottoman Empire, Bulgaria. Remember, 4 countries I'm talking about in the Central powers. Okay, it was the Austrian Empire basically. In the Austrian Empire, we have Ottoman Empire, Austria, Hungary, Germany and Bulgaria. 4 countries in the central side. In the allied side, we had Great Britain, that is the UK, France, Italy, Romania, Russia, Japan and USA. How many countries did I tell you here? 7 countries, okay? Great Britain, USA, okay, remember like this, UK, USA. Now France, Italy, Romania, okay. Now Russia and don't leave Japan, okay, Russia, Japan. So these are the 7 countries in the allied side. In your book, it's not given the full thing, but you should remember the full thing, okay? Now all the central powers, the allied powers, they joined the war enthusiastically, okay? They did not realize that this war would go on for so many years, for 4 more years like this, okay? In the early years, it was a good victory of Germany, because in the early years, what Germany did was it occupied 2 countries, France and Bulgaria. Okay, Bulgaria. It occupied France and Bulgaria in the early years of the war. Germany did that. But when USA came into picture, along with the Allied powers. But when the entry of USA did come, okay, in 1917, so it won by defeating Germany and the Central Powers in November 1918. Okay, so then November 1918, Germany was defeated, the Central Powers were defeated, the Allied powers won. Okay, so defeat of the Imperial Germany. What do we mean by Imperial over here? Basically, Imperial means relating to a kingdom, right? Empire. So empire, imperial, relating to an imperial. Germany was a great empire that time. It was a very big empire. So the defeat of this Imperial Germany, okay, it gave an opportunity to the parliamentary parties to recast German polity. So what happened was that as, okay, not only this, but let me tell you one more thing. In the war, there was a group, a unit called the Bavarian Army. Okay, I'm writing here the Bavarian Army. Bavarian Army was also alongside Germany or the Allied powers, sorry, Central powers, which fought against alongside the Central powers. They barely managed to survive. Okay, they were also killed. How they were killed? Because they were not able to survive a mustard gas attack. The Allies, they threw a mustard gas attack. So the unit of the Bavarian Army, they were not able to survive that mustard gas attack of the Allies. Okay, so these were some of the attack strategies which the Allied practiced. Okay, on the Central powers. Now this defeat, it gave the a national assembly was formed. Basically what happened, the defeat of this Germany, abdiction of emperor. Who was the emperor that time? That time the emperor was Wilhelm II. I'll write it down. 1 second. I'll remove this. Then we'll write it. 1 second, please. Now it's okay. Okay, I write the name of the emperor of Germany that time, whoever he was. Alright. Yeah. So it is ELM. Wilhelm II, he was abdicated. Okay, he had to step down from the Prussian thrones and the German thrones. So now there was a new opportunity. A national assembly was convened. Okay, a national assembly was convened and a federal constitution was drafted. It meant that the Weimar established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. What is federalism or federal structure? Basically, federal structure is nothing but separation of powers. Okay, right here. Okay, there was a separation of powers. No power was concentrated in the hands of one person. Okay, democratic constitution there was. Deputies were now elected to German parliament. The German parliament was called Reichstag. Okay, Reichstag. It was the German parliament. New deputies, new parliamentaries were elected over here on the basis of equal and universal votes. Now, universal votes included all the adults, including women. Why am I highlighting here women? Why the book has also highlighted women? Because that time women did not have the right to vote. Okay, but now they had it, because now a democratic Weimar Republic was established. Now, since Germany lost the war, okay, there was a war guilt clause against Germany. What was the war guilt clause? Before learning about it, let's look at a treaty, a peace treaty which Germany had to sign because of all the losses it conquered to the Allied powers. Basically what happened now, the people of Germany, they were very much against the Weimar Republic. And also all the Allied powers, they thought, they held Germany responsible for all the losses which were conquered during the war. Why was it so? Because all the countries were set aside. Germany was the one who was willing to do that, attacks and all that. It was ready to do any attack. Okay, also it was playing the war on mostly loans only. Okay, remember this, mostly loans they were playing on. Alright, see here, the Republic did not receive it was not received well by its own people, largely because it was forced to accept after Germany's defeat. Now, basically, Weimar Republic was not what people wanted in Germany, okay? They were forced to adopt this Weimar Republic, a democratic system. People were against it. They were not what it was. They did not think it was to have a democratic country. They were just forced to adopt Weimar Republic as their own new parliamentary system. Okay, after the First World War, so people did not also receive it well. They thought it was not our own, original idea. It was not our own original idea. What happened was, after just the war, when Germany lost, okay, a peace treaty was signed at Versailles. Okay, Versailles in France, everyone knows, no? We have already learned in the first chapter. So in the palace of Versailles, there was a place. I'm just telling you in um, my own words. Okay, there was a place, Hall of Mirrors. Okay, there was the Hall of Mirrors. It was a very important place within the Palace of Versailles. All the important decisions, it used to take place in the Hall of Mirrors itself. So in the Hall of Mirrors, there was a gathering of many people. Many people gathered over there. Okay, and on 28th June, 1919. This doesn't work all the time. Okay, on 28th June 1919, a peace treaty of Versailles was signed by Germany and the Allied nations, which formally ended the World War One. So this was why was the Treaty of Versailles signed? To end the World War One. Now there were some terms and conditions of the treaty. It required that Germany had to pay all the compensation, all the financial reparations. Okay, Germany should be disarmed. Germany should lose the territory. Germany should give up over all its overseas colonies. So what happened? Germany transitioned into a Weimar Republic. It had to be disarmed. It had to, lose everything, all the property it had. After losing, also we also learned that this emperor was abducted. Right? He had to step down from the German and the Prussian thrones. This all did happen. Okay, and along with that, a war guilt clause, which was Article 231, was issued against Germany. Okay, it stated that Germany was accountable for all the damages in the World War One. So Germany had to pay £6 billion as a war reparation or as a compensation. And you'll be surprised to know that the final installment of this compensation was paid in October 2010. Which was almost 92 years after World War One. The final installment was paid by Germany to the Central Powers, to the Allied Powers. Got that? So you can see how a big amount it was, and I told you that Germany paid mostly on loans, right? It played mostly on loans during the war also. So it did not have much of the money left now. So what will it do? So I'm just giving you a brief, okay, what will happen in this chapter next. You will see that USA did help its banks to be centralized and all that. Also, we will see some things which were Germany post World War One. What happened after World War One? So basically, many things did happen. Okay, we'll learn about it. I'm not going to give you everything about it. Okay, I'll just tell you. See what happened was after World War One, when Germany was almost weakened. Right, it was weakened. It was disarmed. It did not have anything now. And it mostly paid on loans, right? So now France and Belgium troops, they occupied the resource-rich Rhineland. Okay. Rhineland was a place in Germany. So what France and Belgium troops did, they occupied that resource-rich Rhineland to get their compensations, okay? And because of this, Germany lost 13% of its territories, 10% of its population, 75% of its iron reserves, 26% of its coal. Okay, and where did it lose it? To France, Denmark, Poland, Lithuania, all these cities, okay? Got it. These all which happened after World War One. Let's see what is written here. So, okay, 10th of its population, 13% territory, 75% iron, 26% coal, to France, Poland, Denmark, Lithuania. I told you, demilitarized Germany means disarmed it. Okay. War guilt clause, which was article number, I told you, article number 231. Okay, it held Germany responsible for the war and the damages the Allied countries suffered. Germany was forced to pay £6 billion. Okay, this is pounds. The Allied armies also occupied, I told you this also, for much of the 1920s, Rhineland, which was a resource-rich place in Germany, it was occupied to grab the compensations themselves, to grab the loans which were retained by Germany themselves. And many Germans now Okay. Now see, many Germans held a new Weimar Republic responsible for not only the defeat but also disgrace at Versailles. I told you why, right? Why did they do that? Because they did not want Weimar Republic. They thought it was, imposed upon them. They did not willingly want it. They wanted a dictatorship, a strong dictatorship. They believed in it. We'll be doing after this. Okay. One more thing I'll tell you. Okay, one more thing I left. See, in Rhineland also, in Rhineland there was a place named Ruhr. Okay, there was a place named Ruhr, and France and Belgium mainly occupied that Ruhr part. Okay, to extract the reparations themselves only. All right, and also basically I told you when that Germany fought World War One on loans, so it had to pay reparations on gold, okay? And gold reserves were running dry that time. So since Germany was losing its resources, France thought of gaining it in kind. So that's why it was when they occupied Ruhr, because the loans, the gold reserves, they were just running dry over there. Okay, Ruhr was an important industrial area in Rhineland, was also one of the largest coal fields of the country. Okay. So also one more thing you can know that I think we'll be doing it later, right? About hyperinflation. There's a new term, hyperinflation. I'll tell you later on. This was it for today. Okay. Next day we'll be doing the effects of the war. What happened after the war? Okay. Not much is left now. Only a little bit is left. We'll be doing it. Okay. So what did we learn in today's session? Today's session we were introduced to Nazism. We were introduced to this thing, World War One, till when it lasted and ended, 1914 to 1918. It was a time period. Then we also dealt who are the countries on the Allied sides and who are the countries on the central sides. Then we learned that Germany lost it in the early years, basically initial years. It occupied France and Belgium, but when the USA came, it was just brought down. And after that, defeat of Imperial Germany, many things happened in the post Germany after World War One. A Weimar Republic was formed. People did not actually receive it well because it was forced to accept Germany's defeat. They were disgraced at Versailles. They were the victim of this war guilt clause. All the compensation, £6 billion compensation they had to pay, and the last installment, the final installment, was paid in October 2010, which was about 92 years after the war. These all things we've learned for today, and let's see what we'll be doing tomorrow. Alright everybody, so have a good day. Thank you.